Thank you so much, Mr. Suarez. I
Mhm.
deliberately allow Mr. Suarez to take time to actually take us through the journey. Like we had Mr. Hasnen yesterday. Mr. Suarez has been working with governments of different countries for over 25 years or 30 years, and is one of the chief consultants from India to multilateral projects to multilateral organizations. So he has this very unique perspective when it comes to government, governance, development, and policy and everything. You can see a reflection from what he has been able to take us through. So it was deliberate, actually. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
yes, we have Dr. Yusuf Sukbeson. I welcome you to this very session. So, Mr. Hasnain, I think there are some issues that because this is a panel discussion, actually, it is a panel discussion, and it has to be something that we can argue and also disagree and agree to actually come to a term of learning. Issues were raised when Dr. Miriam was actually presenting, and that is about cultural culture preservation.
Mm.
Culture is an asset. Culture is an asset
Yeah,
which
Yeah.
is native to different regions,
yeah,
different communities,
yeah,
different continents. So, and when we are talking about AI and equity and trust, that very aspect is very critical.
yeah,
And when we are talking about information and knowledge documentation, it is also something that is very sensitive. The knowledge from India, knowledge from Malaysia, knowledge from Saudi Arabia, knowledge from Nigeria, knowledge from different parts of the world are different. And that is the reason why we have areas of specialization. Whether we like it or not, the way our environment and ecosystem and background are shapes what becomes our knowledge and what we can document as our resources. You can't be so surprised when you see an African very well developed in the way of farming because in their environment they have enough vegetation, they have enough land to cultivate. So the more they cultivate, the more they acquire more knowledge about how
yeah,
to become better in what they do. And you cannot argue with any German or any European people how they come about the locomotion, the aspect of science, because their whole background is actually rooted in the inspiration of what the environment has taught them to develop. And you cannot be arguing with India about medicine,
yeah,
about spirituality, because
yeah,
that is the background of how the continent and how the country was evolved. So
yeah,
that the world is actually enjoying diversity that we can bring together to actually share the thoughts is not an accident. It is a natural design. But
yeah,
the AI has opened up the space. Anybody can
mm,
have access. So, and that is where we have the issue of the AI. We have the issue of the equity. We have the issue of trust
yeah,
across these different sectors. So that is number one from what I pick that we can all look into. And if we if we study the way that we have delivered from various deliveries from all the speakers, you can see that education education took about 80% of our presentations. Education.
yeah,
Then we have Earth coming from Dr. Mohammed now. We have the information culture coming from Dr. Miriam now. We
yeah,
have climate change, the sustainability coming from Mr. Lewis and some other presentations yesterday. Community development of the organizations, both the NGOs, the CBOs, the foundation, the government, and other aspects from yesterday. So when we gather everything together, equity is at the center, trust is at the center, And why are all these things very important? Because we are all saying the foundation of all this intelligence, whether in leadership or in followership or in the ecosystem of the community, it is all centered on data. But data, how is it going to be fair in the collection? How is it going to be fair in the documentation? How is
Yeah.
it going to be fair in the processing? How is it going to be fair in interpretation? And how is it going to be fair in policy? And one aspect I have discovered is that if any data is unfair, anything that is going to come from that very data will be unfair. It will it will definitely squeeze to a particular where we tailor. So that is why any AI that we are using, any AI system we are using, any AI model we are using, we need to understand how was it built, on what data was it built upon. And that's the reason why the source of any AI ecosystem should be where is it coming from? And we must have the understanding of the source. Is it for a particular interest? Is it for a particular purpose? Is it a, the integrity? Yeah, the integrity of the source is very, very important. So, lastly, I want to rest my case because I am popping up all these issues so that we can know where we are going to trash.
Yeah.
So, finally, what I want to say is that when we want to design AI solution for any problem, what are the parameters that are very important to
Yeah.
actually look into? And that is part of our demonstration tomorrow. It is not all the available parameters that can give us solution. How to check our parameter is going to be part of our demonstration tomorrow. We are going to argue tomorrow and even so that we can learn, because
Yeah.
it is about action. It is not about talking. So we are
Yeah.
just talking together now to just understand our perspective, our background, our understanding and something. Then we get that tomorrow to now look at the critical issues of how to actually work with AI to deliver intelligent leadership. So, Mr. Asnain, I've been able to
Yeah.
open up. You can also do some other opening up.
Yeah.
Finally, we got Dr. Ebenezer here. What happened? Relax. He has been
Yes.
battling with network, so I've been busy tracking him. You are welcome. You are welcome, sir.
Welcome. Yeah.
So relax.
I think,
We will take your presentation. So,
yeah.
Mr. Asnain, thank you.
Yeah. I think you raise very valid point and critical aspects when we are talking about AI, artificial intelligence is there for more than 70 years, but it was in the lab under where it was very expensive technology, I would say. And then you raise another thing, which is like on when we are talking about Gen AI, generative AI tools, we have application behind application, we have algorithms. Algorithms are set of rules to follow. Then these large language models are trained on huge amount of data. Now that data may not belongs to your own culture. They are actually getting it from somewhere else. So in year 2020, I did a workshop in one of the medical education conference, and I told the same thing. It was in Sri Lanka. So I was telling them that if you don't use these tools and you don't give feedback, then the gap will be widening, because majority of these applications are developed in a, they call like global south, like developed countries. So they will for sure inject the data they like. They can modify the culture they like. So what is our role wherever we are? I like our presenter just now, I think Dr. Suresh, right? Just now from India, yeah. So he rightly pointed out like they have a national framework. So I would suggest each and every country, each and every institution, we should have some kind of guidelines or framework how to to use AI, where to use AI, and how we can reduce this biasness, how we can protect our culture. If you go explore UNESCO framework for AI use in education, they have very clearly mentioned that they will respect the culture and they will protect the culture, local culture. But it's now being a user, we should actually also take care of. If you notice any algorithm is not, um, like for example, when you give a prompt and it gives you wrong answer, is we human have to validate, because why we call that as artificial intelligence, because they get to reach to that intelligence level of human. So we human have to validate, authenticate, and even give feedback if they are wrong in sharing something which is against our culture. Just now Dr. Rabia used word ethics, ethical use. Sometimes ethics or ethical use, the definition of ethics may vary. As you mentioned about culture may vary, knowledge may vary. So I replace ethical with responsible, how we could use AI responsibly. So we need to jot down all this into our guidelines or framework, and it's a working document, as we are evolving with this technology, we should always actually change our framework, guidelines, rules. And this is what I would say, I think. Very, very valid points. And I think everybody have to ponder and see how we can actually collaborate. Yes. Over to you, Dr. Shah.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. We're still coming back. And yes, I noticed the activities of Dr. Mohammed Taufik. Very,
Mm.
very vast, very, very elaborate, very, very touching and high level in the contribution and also expansion. And I know you are dealing with high level governance hierarchies and organizations. These issues are very, very critical. To design any medication, to design any solution in medical sector, you need to take patient's data, because without the patient's data, there is no way you can design a solution. But when you are taking the patient data, in fact, let me throw this very open to some of us. America, India, China, South Africa cannot develop any vaccine, any drug without having the knowledge of the specimen sample collected from certain countries they want to throw the drug to. Maybe I am not communicating. For example, they want to develop cough syrup that is battling with a particular community in in Sudan, for example. They cannot design that very syrup until they get the specimen from the victims and culture it in the lab to understand the solution, develop the syrup, and throw it back to them as their product to actually buy. That is what is in normal operational way of how you can solve a problem. But at the point of collection of the data of the specimen of the victims, where is the equity? Where is the fairness? Where is the awareness? Where is the transparency? So these are issues around, and AI can actually scrape this very information from publications that are available online or in different repository sources. So these are issues around equity, around the what do we call trust. So when you are introducing any solution, there is a need to declare how you got to this stage of developing your solution. Where did you get your data? Because you must have data of the problem before you can solve it. You can solve that problem. How did you get it? Is it ethical? Is it responsible? Is it what is the trust? Yeah. So these are the issues around that. So Dr. Mohammed, I know you are very passionate about this very aspect. What do you have to say within the X sector, especially the patients that are victims? Because here, the victims here, the vulnerables here
Yeah,
are the
yeah,
patients.
doctor. Yes, doctor. I told you before. The problem is that when we talking about digitizing discrimination, there is very, very developed countries like USA and UK and so on. They develop the AI to serve their to help them serve their problems. But in the underserved countries or communities, the problems are different. You know what I mean? Some countries have very, very low medical supplies and so on. So the AI in these countries should be serve another mission, to reduce waste and be more helpful to quick the process and the supply chain, not to make, for example, robotic surgery. If we are talking about robotic surgery in Rwanda or in maybe these countries, it is not their main concerns now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Or
Oh,
even
this is
Egypt or
this.
any, I mean, you know, some countries have other important needs, especially in healthcare. So AI may serve there better in reducing waste, because waste reduction is very important. Not talking about drug discoveries and so on.
Wow. This is thought provoking.
In
Thank you
my
so
in
much.
my opinion, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Yeah,
my
yeah, we,
humble
we
opinion.
are still coming back. Yes, we are actually getting there. So, Dr. Ebenezer, please have the floor now for your presentation. We will come back to continue to actually debate some of this because we are in the panel and the panel must do the justice to the questions. Thank you.